Honda is taking on the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid with this. It's the new CR-V e-HEV RS, a hybrid model that tops the new CR-V range. At $59,900 driveaway, it's $2,900 more expensive than the VTI-LX, the next model down in the CR-V range. And the big news is the claimed fuel consumption of 5.5 litres per 100 kilometres, which we'll test out in this video. There's a plug-in hybrid model offered overseas, but no word on that yet for Australia. For now, it's a parallel series hybrid, taking on rivals such as the Nissan X-Trail e-Power, the aforementioned Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, and even to a lesser extent, the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. Even though it revives Honda's sporty RS badge, it's nothing really too sporty about this car under the skin. It's mostly cosmetic and a little bit of red stitching inside, which we'll show you in this video. Keep on watching because in this video, we're going to get into the driver's seat of the CR-V e-HEV RS, take it for a spin, have a look under the bonnet at the petrol motor, which is actually more of a generator than anything that powers the wheels. We'll jump into the back seat, show you that, show you the boot, and then at the end, deliver a verdict on the new hybrid CR-V. Of course, if you enjoy this video, make sure you hit like, leave any thoughts in the comment section below, and subscribe for more videos like this. But for now, let's get into it. Okay, I'm going to try to very briefly explain to you how the hybrid system in this car works without losing your attention. But basically, we have a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine here that is sort of like a generator. The car's powered by an electric motor, exactly like an electric car. However, the battery is tiny, so this motor is constantly running to top up that tiny little battery. And that's all there really is to know, to be honest with you. It's kind of like an electric car, this thing, but with a petrol engine and a fuel tank instead of a giant lithium-ion battery. The engine itself does connect to the front wheels. This is a front-wheel drive car when you're driving along at highway speeds, but other than that, it just sits there whirring away as it needs to charge up that tiny battery for a system output of 135 kilowatts and 335 newton meters of torque. Let's have a quick look at the outside of the CR-V e-HEV RS. And of course, the CR-V itself is a much larger car than the previous generation. It's a lot longer. You can get it in 5-seat and 7-seat models now. The hybrid itself only comes as a 5-seater, but yeah, compared to something like a RAV4, this is a fairly large car, almost pushing into the large SUV class. And identifying the range-topping hybrid itself, there are some little bits and pieces that can be pointed out. The e-HEV RS gets the adaptive LED headlights, you get body-coloured wheel arch trim here, you get body-coloured side mouldings down the bottom of the car there, black mirror caps. Moving along down here, we get other things to point out. Privacy glass on the rear, these nice big black 19-inch wheels, and some other styling elements unique to the RS. The little black shark fin antenna on the back here, and the black rear spoiler. And that's how you might be able to spot one of these cars out there in the wild, in addition to the RS badges, of course, and the Honda badges on the front and rear, which have the blue ring denoting that it's a hybrid. Okay, that was a very quick look at the outside. Now let's get behind the all-important driver's seat. So the front row of the CR-V e-HEV RS is a lovely place to sit. I love these seats, they're really nice and comfortable. And you get a few little special touches on the RS that you don't get on other models. Those being the black headlining, the red stitching on this steering wheel and shifter, also here on the center console and the seats as well, of course. And yeah, it's a really nice place to be. We've got the 10.2-inch digital instrument screen here, the larger Fiat item compared to lower grade CR-Vs. We also have a 9-inch touchscreen infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. And I like it, it's nice and bright, if a little bit on the small side for what is a top spec model. We've got a wireless phone charger down here. And yeah, it's a really nice place to be. I love the row of HVAC controls with these switches that just kind of click in a really nice way. There's no like prodding around in the interior screen here to turn the temperature up and down. If I had to throw some criticisms at this car's interior, it would be that you don't get the shift-by-wire of the Civic Hybrid. You get this kind of, you know, slightly large shifter here to go from, you know, park to drive and stuff like that. And there is a little bit of dog nose plastic, again, for a top spec grade. We've got the metal inlays and piano blacks, but then you've got these huge slabs of slightly cheap looking interior plastic. But otherwise, yeah, there's lots of storage space as well in the front of the center console here. The center console itself is nice and big in there. The door bins are really big. Yeah, it's a really good interior. Okay, let's have a quick look at some of the screens and displays here in the CR-V Hybrid. We've got the 10.2-inch digital instrument display here, which basically just shows you speed, things to do with the vehicle's semi-autonomous capability, cruise, all that kind of stuff. It's interesting watching how the engine kind of kicks in and how the battery's working and the electric motor and stuff like that. Here we've got the 9-inch infotainment touchscreen display, which is a little bit on the small side for a range-topping model, I have to say. Some other cars have things like 10.25-inch or even 12-inch displays these days. But the graphics themselves are really nice and modern and clear. The screen itself is lovely and responsive, and you get some specific displays to the hybrid, like this screen here. It shows you your range, it shows you when the battery is powering the electric motor, when the motor is recharging the battery. Really cool. Apple CarPlay is wireless, as is Android Auto, and it's just nice and easy to use, seamless, nice and fast. I love that it's a touch screen. And then, yeah, it's pretty much everything you could ask for. Nice and small. There is something to be said actually for a smaller screen that doesn't fill half the dashboard as you're trying to see out the windscreen. So perhaps Honda has done something right there. There's plenty of space back here in the second row. This is my driving position. I've got tons of foot room, tons of knee room. Honda added a little bit of wheelbase to this generation CR-V compared to the last. And some highlights for me would be the sliding second row. You can go forward and backwards up to 190 millimeters, giving you a little bit of extra boot room if you need it. We've got a center armrest here with 2 cup holders, stadium set seating as well, so any kids sitting in the back can see out really easily with this low window line. The rear doors, they open up nearly 90 degrees, giving you really easy access to the rear seats. Although a couple of criticisms for a top-of-the-range model, we don't get tri-zone like 7-seat CR-V models, just very basic manual rear air vents here. And we don't get standard rear window blinds, and there's no rear seat heating. Otherwise though, there's plenty of space. Okay, let's have a look at the boot now. The CR-V Hybrid has the same electric tailgate as all other CR-V grades. And in here, it's a nice, big, generously sized boot. We've got a low lip floor, which is really good. You don't have to lift things up too high, even though it is an SUV. You don't give up any boot space compared to the VTI LX as well, 581 litres. Although that car has a space saver spare wheel, this has a puncture repair kit. Some other highlights and things to mention, we've got a cargo blind here. There's nowhere to stash it if you need to put it somewhere else, so it might just sit in your garage forever. We've got 2 little extra storage bits here on the sides, 2 lights, a 12-volt outlet. We've got a 60-40 split for the rear backrest, although I do notice that there are only 2 top tethers, not 3 like some other SUVs in this class. And the second row is also sliding, so you can move it forward to maximize the boot space if you need to. Okay, we're in the driver's seat of the CR-V Hybrid now. First impressions are good. It's just like an electric car in some ways. You turn it on, there's no engine start, put it into drive, again, it's all really quiet. You move away with that lovely, smooth, silent electric motor until the engine, of course, kicks in. And it's a very loud engine. So it's not an electric car in that regards. It's still very much a hybrid, but you get that same kind of experience at low speeds. And one little party trick I love about electric cars or any car powered by an electric motor is switching from drive to reverse and back. It happens so quickly and easily. 3-point turns are a breeze. I love the seating position in the CR-V. It's really nice and natural. You got great forward visibility as well with this really nice thin A-pillar. It's just really easy to look around. Even the rear 3/4 visibility isn't too bad as well. It's just a very easy car to drive. Not too big, not too small, just right. It's very quiet too. When the motor hasn't kicked in, you're just driving around on electric power. On the dash here it says EV mode, and you are basically in an electric car with a tiny battery. And it's very smooth and just nice. It elevates the level of CR-V refinement to a new level, this hybrid powertrain. One thing that does surprise me about the CR-V Hybrid is the ride quality. I certainly wouldn't say it's uncomfortable or anything like that, but it is surprisingly firm, and I think that has a lot to do with the added weight. It is 158 kilos heavier than the base front-wheel drive CR-V, and it's 52 kilos heavier than the all-wheel drive VTI LX. And you can kind of feel it as it goes over some bumps. There is a bit of heaviness and thuddiness to the way it falls into potholes and stuff like that. And no doubt the 19-inch wheels contribute to that sporting ride quality as well. Another thing that surprises me about the CR-V Hybrid is there's no dedicated EV mode. There's no button that you can press to just drive around with the engine off, unlike, say, a Toyota Hybrid. So you can't motor around a car park or cruise home silently in EV-only mode. You just have to hope that the engine doesn't kick in because it is a little bit loud from the outside. Even though this car wears an RS badge, it has the same suspension as other CR-V models. And that's no bad thing because this car is very good dynamically. I have driven a lot of CR-Vs now on winding roads and they're so good you can almost imagine a Type R version. It is a little bit of a driver's SUV in that regard. Now the big question with this car is the fuel economy, of course. Honda claims it'll do 5.5 litres on the combined cycle. We've been getting closer to 6.4 litres per 100 kilometres, and that's even in economy mode driving around the city. We don't doubt that you could get closer to 6 litres per 100 kilometres and maybe even less if you drove very, very carefully and frugally. But yes, not quite as good as the claimed figure and certainly not as good as some Toyota hybrids. This could be the fastest of all the new CR-V models as well. It has a lot more torque than the turbo 4-cylinder CR-Vs. Put your foot down and it really kind of kicks you back in the seat with good torque and good response. And it is interesting hearing the motor whirring away, again, as if it's doing all the work, but it's not, it's the electric motor. In terms of regeneration, there are steering wheel paddles and there are 4 modes that you can select, which kind of scavenge more energy as you come off the accelerator. There's nothing quite as aggressive as the 1-pedal mode you get in some other hybrids and EV models. And curiously, it kind of defaults back to off after a while, so you can't permanently put it in a certain level of regeneration, which, yeah, is a little bit annoying. One thing the hybrid RS model has that other CR-Vs don't is a sport mode. Select sport mode and it kind of perks the throttle up a little bit more and you get that lovely instant electric motor torque. You even get a little bit of fake engine noise if you put your foot down. And that doesn't sound bad either, I have to say. Although for those out there hoping for a driver's performance SUV, the sport mode doesn't turn the CR-V quite into that. In conclusion, the hybrid CR-V is a really nice car to drive. I love the way all the controls feel. I love the electric motor feel, the response and the torque and the smoothness at low speeds is really, really nice, exactly like an electric car. The engine is a little bit noisy. This is definitely not an EV, but it's nothing too unbecoming or unrefined or anything like that. It's just a really nice, easy car to drive and the pick of the bunch, if you ask me, of the CR-V range. So there you have it, the new CR-V e-HEV RS. A really great car. I really like it. I love the interior. It's nice and spacious. I love the way it drives, almost like an electric car, even though it isn't an electric car, obviously, with the motor constantly whirring away. There are some things about it that could be improved. Even though it is a hybrid, it can't match a car like the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid for ultimate fuel efficiency. And maybe the interior isn't quite as nice as something like a Nissan X-Trail e-Power. Certainly a comparison between those cars would be very interesting. The ride quality could also be a little bit better, but otherwise it's a really great car and it's definitely the pick of the new CR-V range. If you got something out of this review, hit like, leave any thoughts in the comments section below, and of course subscribe for more review videos like this. For now though, thanks for watching Chasing Cars.